PR Connections Radio presents
G'day. This is Anna Karenina K. Aloha with the Business of Giving again. And we've got a fabulous guest today. You're going to love her. This is Constance English. And I'd like to introduce you. She has so much to say. I don't think we can even fit it in the time we've got. G'day, Constance.
Hello, Anna. How are you today?
Me? I'm always on all of them. I've got all the bubbles going in the air at all times. It's already been a big day, and it's just like we're only halfway through. So tell me, I want to know why you're with me today. What is a thumbnail of your story?
Well, today I always want to highlight that I am a former foster youth. Right now, I created an organization called Siblings United Visitations. Unlike other foster care organizations, we differ where we're trying to make sure that it is an organization that's built on the truths of foster care and how to unstigmatize the things that oppress foster kids in the system. What we noticed that my team and I is that a lot of us are not thriving when it comes to age 18, and they're aging out of the system, and they're still in the same spot. And it's kind of weird because the same system that raised us, that provided all the services for us while we're in the system, when we turn 18, are the same system that displaces us. And then we regurgitate the cycle of them becoming parents that have kids, and then the system is real right back in their life. And it's like they're forever recycling and regurgitating the trauma, but there's no real solutions. So my organization is trying to break change. And one of the things that we are trying to change is the way we do business when it comes to familial connections. And that's internally just the siblings. The siblings have nothing to do with what parents have have made the decisions that they made, whether they were former foster youth or trauma or whatever, whether they're half brothers, sisters, they got different dads, different moms. The kids themselves have nothing to do with those decisions that made, but at the same time, they are the ones that are impacted the worst by the bad decisions that are made. The system does a lot of, I would say, they do a lot of puppy stiffing, meaning that they separate kids like they're puppies and that their connections don't really matter because it's what's convenient for the system, not convenient for the child.
Oh, that's a big basket full right there and then. The fact that you were a foster child brings it right back to square one, because you know from every cell in your body what that feels like. And that's an enormous amount of information to use to build on to help the organization that you've created. I find that astounding. And that you're such a together young woman today after all you've been through. And it's got to be a process. I mean, I have no idea. I had a mum and a dad and a sister, and life was cool. You know, we didn't have everything, but we had love, we had connection, we had what it takes to be a family together, and that's all that matters in the end, that like heartfelt connection. And you are bringing it together for all these siblings that are out there, like shot out of a cannon.
Yes, we are.
All right, so what was your first step?
So right now, my first step was when I got out of foster care, I was so confused on how did this happen? Why didn't people try harder to make sure I still was with my siblings? Because I am the eldest of, my mom has 6 kids. I'm the eldest of 6. So I was very parentified, but I was ripped from my sisters. Like my relationship didn't matter, and it really traumatized me. So I spent many years trying to figure out who I am, why did it happen? And some of it took me to drug addiction, all these different things, trying to fill these voids that I couldn't fill because answers weren't being made or answers weren't being given to me because I wasn't considered worthy enough to be able to receive those information. I was very dismissed. So I went upon myself to say, okay, where did it first start? So I went and got my first job at a residential treatment center. That's where kids go, foster home, the group homes. So I went and got a job to be a staff. That was a staff that was formerly, and that was when I was 19. And I became a supervisor when I was 20. Since 20, I've been in nothing but supervisory roles. I don't know why. Everyone says my personality just doesn't fit being a staff. I'm very direct. If this is not the way it's going, I'm not going to do it. So I always been in supervisory roles and have very good mentors along the way to allow me to do my space. Then I went to school for my bachelor's in social work. And while I was doing that, I went and I became group home. I wrote a program for group homes. I sat on boards. I sat on advisories, committees, trying to advocate for change. And what I noticed as a foster kid, coming in as a foster kid, people were very dismissive of me just because I was saying I was a foster kid. They wouldn't take my work. They didn't take my personal experiences real. They didn't take my education as real because the education didn't have the years and backing of experience of X, Y, Z. And title played a lot into me being unheard when it comes to siblings and the impact it had. Even when I tried to do case consultation, everything was more for what was convenient for the system in a company versus what was convenient for the child. So as I did that, I'm like, okay, now that I'm learning group homes, now I need to become a social worker. I got my degree. Let me go become a social worker. I started at the very bottom. I wanted to be part of the visits. What's happening in these visits? What's happening when they're trying to reunify? So I work in the continuing part of it. I worked in the IR department, emergency part of it. And emergency response is basically, when kids get a referral that day that you have to go out. So I did all the things, like all the different aspects and positions that you can in child welfare, because I needed to know why my case didn't matter. I need to know why other people's cases, and what were the things that were causing people to have fatigue, burnout, whatever it may be. Is it a bad social worker? Is it a bad supervisor? Or is this person overwhelmed with too many cases? I had to learn those things because I couldn't be able to have a good solution if I didn't know all the system at place. How can I advocate for the future of foster children if I don't know the system that's working for us?
Oh my goodness. And the fact that you got to your bachelor's and you progressed and you wanted to learn more as a child that wasn't brought up in a regular mom, dad, and kids home. That to me, I just figure that they're all lost. Any kid that goes into the system is lost. That's how I envisage the whole thing. And look at you. You're up there on the top of the pinnacles going, well, I'm going to get my bachelor's and I'm going to go and learn this and I'm going to learn that. I'm going to be the best of it. And there you are today, being there for others that need that kind of mentoring. It's extraordinary. I've got so many kudos for you. So, okay, so how did you leap into this business of
So after I did that, I was like, I don't want to be a social worker. That's a very stressful job, not because of me. It's because they're underpaid. And this is a legislation issue. This is not something that I can fix. It's not something they can fix. Fatigue can happen naturally to anyone that's human because there's only so much one can do, especially when they're underpaid. So I had compassion for social workers, if anything. And it made me feel like very bad for them being in a situation because now you got kids looking up to you and there's nothing you can really do for them. And I also learned behaviors that social workers get. People over-promising things that they couldn't provide. So because they're over-promising things to provide, it burns into us because those are our first aspects of hope, are the interactions with social workers and people that's supposed to be our stewardship of support and safety. And they're promising us things that they cannot provide. So I was like, I need to become a therapist. So I went and got my master's in marriage family therapy instead of social work. Because I was like, I need to become a therapist. I need to understand why all this stuff is happening. I need to understand generational trauma. And I need to be able to be trauma informed for the social worker themselves that go through the trauma of the cases that they uphold. So then I could be able to make it a full circle. So this is not just me being a foster kid that cares about foster kid. I want to care about the social worker that's handling the case. I want to create a program that's caring about the foster kid. I want to create a program that's the bystanders that were innocent, that didn't have the ability to help. I want to be able to create a program where social workers can be able to talk and what's it called? Lawyers can come and talk about their cases because they're in public service. And I want to talk to the judges. I want to say, what do you feel when you have these cases and you have to keep regurgitating them every 6 months, every 12 months, every 18 months, and the paperwork's still not done because the system is so broken that everyone's overwhelmed and all we're doing is putting out fires, that we really don't get to a solution in this. We're not growing as a community. So I want to be an advocate for the whole child welfare system, and I want us to change some language that we're doing. I want to change some things, and the first thing I want to do is start with my little brothers and sisters, and that's the foster care community. Hey, they need real visits. We need to remove stigmas. One of the things that you guys are doing that is, hey, this is a big foster care event. I announced that to, hey, this is every Christmas and Thanksgiving I go and I cook and I clean for the homeless. But the whole 364 days or whole 363 days, what are you doing for the homeless? Have you built any connections with them? Have you seen if they're really thriving or if their lives? Have you made any type of personal connection that you know someone on a first-hand basis besides you knowing their title of homelessness? So we do that now with foster kids. Hey, I'm donating to this organization and they do these big old things. They're doing Camp Connect. They're doing an event where everything's highlight a day at the park or a Venture Dome, all for foster kids. We shut down the whole park for foster kids. So now you're highlighting and you're segregating us into a bucket. It's like a kid can have AIDS, a kid can have anger issues, a kid could be a killer, a kid could be a doctor, a lawyer, a person could be all these type of different things. They can be, Muslim, they can be Catholic, they can be Christian. But the minute you say they're a foster kid, you rip their identity and put them in a bucket of foster kid. So it's like, how do we change that language to regain our identity back? My name is Constance. Your name is Anna. You're not foster kid. You're not a PR executive. You're Anna. So it's like, how do I help the community understand how important it is for us to regain our identity? So one of the things I wanted to start with was us not only being an institution that educates people from foster care and professionals. I also want to be an institution that creates visits that are normalized for kids. Why are the kids only getting 2-hour visits from their siblings that are their blood once a week? Why can't they have a naturalized visit where they're doing karate together? They're doing dance practice together. Who pays for that stuff? Okay, then I'm willing to pay. One of the things is who transports them. I have a transportation company. If people help me get vans and cars, we can be able to get these kids to the visits. My transportation is a for-profit, but we can definitely turn it into whatever things that contracts that we create, but create mobility for foster kids to get to their visits. Kids want to be in dance practice. They got geek club. They got all these little different things that they want to be in after school programs. No one lets them go because no one has the ability to get them there in a transportation aspect. Why can't I be that big sister, that auntie, that uncle that provides those rides for the kids and the supervision they need so they can have a normalized life and do everything everyone else did so that they're not subjugated to just being a foster kid? And that will help a little bit with their identity, because when we're talking about kids of tomorrow, foster kids are not created to be in that future of tomorrow. And I want to change that language to make sure that they are. And I want them to know that they can be anything and everything they want through Christ himself who strengthens them.
Yeah, first and foremost, they're children. The
Yes.
fact that people want to tag on a line or a word or an adjective in front of the child, it's irrelevant. And yes, we do have to change all the government systems. I'm glad that things are getting put into the garbage can right now and swept away. And there's a new way of looking at how we're going to spend those dollars that are taken out of our taxes to help people like where you're at. I mean, who knows? I didn't know anything about this. I never thought about it before I started listening to you. That's an incredible situation. First and foremost, I can't believe what a leader you are, how impassioned you are for your cause. And then I go, well, she was a foster child. She knows all about it. Do you get people coming back to you, foster children who have grown up and become adults, and giving you feedback? What happens there?
I know. So I tell people I'm Disneyland. I'm a whole experience. I'm where the magic happened. Once you're with me, you'll never forget me. It's a definite interaction. I'm an unforgettable person. And I said that's one thing my mother did well is name me Constance. I am consistent in all things that I do. So everyone's always is trying to figure out or reach out to me on Facebook or anything like that. I do Young Life. I do Young Life with South Bay in San Diego, Sweetwater High, Luma Hadad. And guess what? All those kids connect. I don't know why. I have always been good with kids. And I'll never forget this one incident. That's why I tell people it's so important to be intentional and good to people. You really need to be good. I had this job when I was younger. I think I was probably in my 30s because I'm crusty now. So I had this job and I was at a trolley station in San Diego, and some kid came from behind when I was trying to talk to my staff because I was working out, because I was working with the people with disabilities at the time. So I was giving the staff their schedules on which group that they're taking and which job they're taking. And they usually teach them transportation skills and they get on the trolley. Some kid picked me up from behind and spun me around and was like, Constance! I didn't know who had me in the air and my feet are off the ground. And I'm just like so flabbergasted that happened. Like, oh my God. And then I turned around and I'm like, oh, and I was like, I couldn't remember the kid's name, but the kid was like, you remember me? And I was immediately humbled by that experience. This is why no matter what you do, whether it's a good impact or bad impact, you are an invisible tattoo that will stay with that child forever. Forever. So instead of it being a bad night in Vegas and a tattoo that you regret, you better hope it's some stars and stripes and the angel heart or something that they are excited to express it with you. Because just like I got caught off guard with love, I could have got caught off guard with hate.
Right.
So we gotta be careful with the way we be intentional with these kids and how we treat them, because we could be on the receiving end. And if we don't do something now and how we change the way we're doing business with these kids, is either you're gonna be the receiving end of the future carjacker or the person selling you a car. So It's like something has to change, right? So it's like we got to just change the way we do these type of things, especially when it comes to kids. We got to respect their feelings.
What is the connection now between you and government money? How are you able to hook into not just you, me, people on the street, little nonprofits along the way? How are you getting big chunks of money?
So I haven't started that process yet. I did mention to you before and everyone else last month. I started this organization in October. In November, I took 2 last chance kids. I took siblings that were going to get separated. One had issues with animals and another one had issues with chronic masturbation. After that, I took those 2 boys in. 2 weeks later, I took some kids that I was a therapist in as well, because they were going to get separated because one had autism. The other one was very violent to his foster parents. So I ended up with 4 boys in less than 2 months. And my life was forever changed. And I had to take a leave of absence from work to take care of these boys. And what I learned is all the principles of what I'm saying about identity work. These kids been in like 15, 20 plus homes. My house is the last home, and we're already in the process of adopting them now. And that's only been since November. And so we just restarted like a few weeks ago because the message is still being clear. So I developed curriculums based off these kids. I created a child behavior system program that's based more on love and independence. I created a program to teach foster parents how to be able to deal with kids that have behaviors. I also offer case consultations for people that either lost their kids or, having problems with people in the government. I also do weekly classes now that's called Foster Truths. I want to be the person that people could ask a question of anything to, and I'll be able to answer, whether it be in a therapeutic aspect, a child welfare aspect, or a former foster youth. So I do a 30-minute segment every Tuesday on Meetup at 10 a.m. and it's called Foster foster truths, and all they got to do is it's a Q&A. It's just a little bit of information telling people a little bit background on foster care. The first 30 minutes and the last 30 minutes is all Q&A, and if people want private consultation afterwards, they can book me for, a small fee. But my job now is to educate people and with these curriculums, and that's how we're getting money. Another thing is I'm partnering with Sky Zone is one of the places I partner with, and then From Studio is the first karate dojo that I created an after school program for. So anytime people go and buy services for From Studio, it pays for one foster kid to go to their studio for free. And I created the whole after school program for them, so then siblings could be able to go there. So I'm gonna start writing grants for them, and there's other companies that I want to start working with to see if they'll allow me to create after school programs and allow our foster kids to go there so they can have natural lives, again, visits and interactions, and be a part of the system of normalcy with other kids. And don't let money be the thing that defined us. Our God is rich. He is bountiful. He has unlimited resources. So I would never talk dollar and cents if it's just going to be coming to the point of, do you want to do something now? If you want to do something now, you will provide the aspect for me to do, whether it's allowing me to bring my kids, giving us tickets to whether it be plays or games or, arcades and stuff. I ask right now for people to give me 25 tickets. If you have a company and we're asking for your low traffic days on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, give us 25 tickets. Give us 25 tickets a week or 25 tickets a month. We will put it to use for these kids to come. All they got to do is let me know. I put their name on the list, and they can go there with their siblings and have a natural visit that's not in a institution, and that they could create real life memories, even if it's just a paint thing, going them doing painting, making ceramics. I just want these kids to have fun. My ultimate goal is to have a house. I'm praying that the community or God will bless me a house where I can have 3 rooms, like a 4-bedroom house, where one is a safari room, one is a Disney room, one is a camping room, one's a gaming room, and that's a theme. And we put pajamas in there. I want 9 beds in there. You know how they have the bump beds where it's 3 stacked? Mm-hmm. I want 9 in there so we can have a whole room that's visit. And in the kitchen, we have staff making food and catering to them, and kids have actual weekend visits that's creating siblings bonds and lasting memories. And at that same house, we're able to have social worker days where there's spa days for the public that's helping the kids, and we get vouchers from people that's willing to allow us, hey, if you come and do a training, we'll give you in turn a spa day, or we give you lunch or whatever, and they could be able to learn and all those other different things. That's my promise. That's my goal. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I just know that God is going to provide it some way, somehow.
What happens when these children get to experience your wonderful dream? Have you got any sort of feeling about how it actually imprints on them for the future, so they do become people that are going to be leaders in this community and are going to give back rather than take?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I just know that it's going to be wonderful, because you know what I got proof of? I got 4 boys in there doing well.
Right. It's amazing. That's
the only proof I know. And so, it's like always, each one, teach one, reach one, we won. That's it.
So where do people, when they want to contact you, where's the best place to contact you?
So right now we need volunteers. I said, because I can't do everything by myself. I'm very good at advocating and all this stuff. And it's like in getting social media, like I need social media people. I don't know anything about social media, but I know a lot about behavioral health, and I'm very good at it. And that's one thing I'm not cocky about a lot of things. I try to be humble with God's gifts. But one thing I can do is I can challenge behaviors. Challenging behaviors has never been a problem with me, because when they talk about the worst kid, I was the worst kid. So I'm like, so because I know I was the worst kid, I was helped through love. So I helped these kids through love. My little kids that were horrible, all they needed was love. When they were having tantrums, I'll hug them, and then I pray for them and love on them. And now they're like, can I get a hug before I go to school? Can I? And it's like, so right now, I just want them to be able to contact Siblings United Visitations.org. We're in the process of doing our website. We haven't fully developed it yet. It's on hold, but we're working with some wonderful people that's helping us with our website. not only Siblings United Visitations, you can send me an email at English Siblings United Visitation, whether you want to donate, whether you want to volunteer, you want to get involved. If there's anything that you think you can do to help elevate us in our mission, we're trying to launch in January. Right now, we're trying to collect all these tickets. We're trying to collect everything. We're also trying to work with Raffle Gives, and Raffle Gives was like, we need things to raffle. We don't have things to raffle. So even if you want to donate to that aspect for the raffling aspect. And then we're going to also try to work with Give Butter. Give Butter is working on a campaign for us. Right now, we need vans. It's like, how we're going to get these kids places when we don't even have vans, we don't have cars. And it's like I tell people, my faith is so strong in my mission, and I know God is a God that is so bountiful that he will want this mission to happen, that it's going to put it in the right face, in the right ear, in the right time, in the right space, and it's going to happen naturally. I don't have to fight for it, because if people hear it and they see it and they love it and they believe it, they will do it naturally, and I'm not going to have to fight to get there. I trust God enough to know we're going to get there. But if you need me to wash cars, if you need me to scrub floors, if you need me to do any of those things, you need me to brush the tail of the horse, I can do it. I can do it. I can cook. I bake cookies. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you need from me in order for you to complete yourself and in your mission and your belief in me, I am here for it. I am here for it, because again, I am the big sister for foster kids. And what I'm asking people to, I'm calling on other foster kids. If you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're a veterinarian, if you're a pediatrician, if you're anything that had any type of life, any type of thing in the system, you donate to your little brothers and sisters so we can get them to these visits and change their lives. So I'm calling, they don't have to expose themselves, but because they know the mission is real, they need to be part of the movement. And it's called Unyes Movement. The Unyes Movement is unyesing the stigmatization that comes to foster care. Unyes foster care, yes to community. You know, so there's a lot of things that we're doing, and I just hope that everyone becomes part of the Unyes Movement.
Well, I'm sure, Constance, when people watch this and hear you and your passion and your vision, and it's ongoing, and they're our children, we have to invest in our children, because that's tomorrow, right? Without our children, and if they're not directed, educated, and given love and respect, honor, and all the rest of it, learn about integrity and values and virtues, we're doomed. So it's not just for them, it's for us, it's for the future. You're a wonderful, wonderful human being. I think I'm starting to see wings sprouting out of your shoulders.
It's all through God. If there's nothing that I learned about this journey, I take people to God. I don't try to take people to God because it's something that you need to do. As foster kids, we're so unbalanced and we don't have any grounding. Biblically speaking, he's the one thing that's not going to fail us when we put so much faith in people, and it becomes very tainted. He's the one place that you can, remember everyone talk about the whispering hole. You can say, God, I love you and I need you. And you can close the hole up. It's like all your secrets lies in him, all your love, all the things that you need. He will fulfill you with the community and that base. If you get into that word enough, you will feel the presence of God enough to know that you are not alone. And it's like feeling alone is the worst burdensome thing a child can go through. And I said, this is one thing I try to tell people. The worst thing a child can have is grown people problems. And that's what foster kids have. Grown people problems that they can't adapt to in their little bitty brains. And I want to take their grown people problems away and be the big sister to protect them and shield them and allow them to shine in their children's spaces that God designed them to be in.
I'm giving you a big hug right now, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there, when they see this, they're going to get it too, and they're going to be inspired to follow you and donate, help, whether it's money or cars,
physical
vans,
hands. Yes.
Yeah. Just anything. I mean, I'm volunteering all the time for different things, and my big thing is time. You know, I squeeze things here and here and here because I'm good at what I do. And
yes,
that's why I focus on that kind of thing. There's people out there that are good at a million things, some making money and giving money, and you're the person it needs to go to. Thank you so much, Constance, for coming on board. We so appreciate your gift to the community.
Thank you. And our number is 725-256-4737 if anybody wants to contact me. I'm Constance
Thank you,
English,
Noah.
Executive Director of Siblings United.
Aloha!
Yes.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.